To order on Monday, November 10th. No, I'm sorry.
It's 10.
Monday, November 10th, 2014. It's 6:05. It's to discuss the budget, the work session. Okay, first off, I want to thank the mayor for coming. I would have liked to see Tom here, but he's on vacation, Joe?
Yeah, he took a vacation day weeks ago for today.
If we schedule another work session, could we have him here too, or?
Well, he could be here if you wanted him, but
If we schedule another work session?
if you schedule another one.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have been here, he said, but he was
Okay.
on vacation out of town, so that's why he
Okay.
couldn't make it.
Okay.
That would be helpful because, you know, I know we can toss some ideas back and forth here, but we've talked before, you know. There are those who are numbers men and there are those who are not. And to have the numbers guy here for the city really, I think would be helpful, Joe. So it's not a criticism. If we can have another one and I think we can accomplish some things tonight, that would be helpful.
Okay, with that, I guess, Jeannie, do you have some questions? Do you want to start first, or?
It doesn't really matter who starts first. First of all, I mean, he gave us a narrative, and it was a page on the, as a cover page. I would really have appreciated it if we had the narrative on the side like we had last time.
You mean a narrative by the line items? That's what he had the last time.
Yeah, like Mr. Hahn had done for us.
Well, if there was major changes, none of them really are major changes. Budget itself is basically the same as it was.
Well,
The only major change in it, and I think is the 1 mil for the 10 police. Otherwise, there's only 4%, and some of the items are real small that increased on certain line items. But basically, if you look at all those line items and compare it to the approved budget or the amended budget, they're pretty close. They're pretty close. So if it was a major, he would have marked it. But being that it was only 0.16 increase in millage, he didn't put the descriptions alongside. If you see something that's major, let me see if I could answer it for you.
Joe, I have just a couple of questions too. The 3% raises, are they to?
I'm sorry.
Who are they to, or
There's raises, you mean,
the raises to management?
yeah, there's raises to all the contracts, naturally.
Yeah, I know, but
And
what?
that's the major. And one of the policies that we've always had is if you're a non-union employee, you receive the same as any union employee.
Okay, that 3% to management, you know how much that would cost, or what that totals, or?
Is that what he
Number?
put this?
You had a 0.016 or something like that in there?
Point
0.016.
Yeah, 0.16.
0.016.
Was it 0.16?
I think so.
And what,
Of the mills. I don't think it's a full, you know.
it's a partial mill. It's a percentage.
3%? Oh.
you know what
No,
is that?
yeah, he has it 0.16.
Do you know
0.16.
how much money that is, Joe?
Well, maybe over the $9 million, it's like 300, I think.
It's got to be close to 300 because at 2.5, I calculated it out just as what a mill would be on that stormwater fee at $25 a pop per unit. And that came out to about a quarter of a mil.
Well,
0.25.
One total mill, maybe it isn't 300,000.
So you're
One
talking
total
about
mill is 900,000.
Okay, but this is about two-thirds of that, so this would be about 200,000.
Yeah, it'd be about maybe a tenth of it.
I got to be honest with you. One of the problems that I have, and you know, I'm going to share and just to give and take on this. Please understand. One of the things that we've had at the council meetings, going back and forth a lot, is people coming in here to tell us about the 26%, and one of the things that they talk about, or one of the things that I know is on a lot of people's minds in town, are some of these pay increases, especially to non-union people, but more importantly to some of the department heads and things like that. And here's the reason why, and then you can explain to me your logic to it. The average person in Social Security this year is going to get a 1.2 cost of living increase. And in Hazleton, we've got certainly an awful lot of senior citizens.
Well,
And how do we turn around and tell those people they're going to pay an increase in the taxes as we have if they're getting 1.2 and we're asking them, forget the other stuff, we're asking them to give people who are making in the 50s, 60s, and 70,000s 3% increase. You know, there are people here in town who haven't gotten an increase in a couple years. I'll be honest with you, and it's not. Please understand, this is not just me. This is other people too. I've been at a freeze for 3 years, and I've been told now that because of economic conditions to expect it at least for another 2 years. So when you're taking a look at people who are not receiving increases, a 3% on top of what, again, they got last year and they've gotten other years, that's a hit, and that's hard for some people to swallow. But I'll let you explain.
well, you're talking about the cost of living, and you're talking about working for a living. These people have families that they support. You know, a cost of living that you're talking about, that whatever it was, the number you
1.2.
said,
1.2.
1 point something. That's different than working for a living and putting all your time and putting 2,080 hours in here a year and expecting to get increases so that you could afford to raise a family. And that's how people bargain in the union. And if they can bargain for the 3%, which is probably on the low end of the scale, why can't a non-union person get that? But I'll give you this. In the 3 years I was here, Mary Ellen was here, Bob Ferdinand was here, Annetta was here. I replaced all of them through retirement, and I hired Tom at $17,000 less than Mary Ellen was getting.
But Mary Ellen had the years in.
What does it matter? She was getting $79,000. He's not talking years. He's talking. She got $79,000 plus 10% longevity. Ferdinand was replaced cheaper. Annetta, she was $34,000 cheaper. She was making $69,000.
Okay.
I hired the other one for $35,000.
Yeah, but you added some people in those departments, Joe.
No.
You added...
The person I added in community development was to replace two part-timers, Annetta and Carol.
Yeah.
And that's the salary she's getting, less than what they both made as part-timers. So everybody has been lowered. I mean,
Yeah.
it comes to $71,000 in 3 positions that I saved when I replaced them.
What I was trying
So,
to get
but-
at, excuse me,
Go ahead.
is the experience. I mean, let's be honest, Fallon started out brand new, fresh. He didn't have the experience that
Who?
we had, and we're paying for it
Well,
with Netta.
that's the point we're getting to with the 3%. The gentleman's here for 20 years and he has another year. Why can't he get 3% increase for his experience over that period?
Well, I understand that. I'm not sure whether, I understand your argument right now. Again, when you start and then you build up, you've got to build up, that's true, but there are a lot of people that are working on just Social Security. They're not working on it, but receiving just Social Security, and that's kind of tough. Let me move on to another point, Mayor, because I'm not clear on this one at all either, and we're not talking just salaries.
Department's getting a pay freeze with their contract.
Well, that's the
fire
fire.
Are we going to jump around or just start at the beginning and go straight down?
Well, you know what? I've got some questions that I had. If
Okay.
you want to jump in any place along the way,
I don't want to jump in, I just...
I'm looking at page 4 of 23 under highways and streets, 363. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. I understand parking and I understand monthly parking permits. I don't understand if there's the possibility of a lease on the parking garage, how the city is going to budget $249,000 receipt for the year. I don't understand it. If we're going to rent it out, I don't think that's the rental fee for the year, is it?
No.
How do we get that?
The monthly parking permits at,
No, the monthly
Parking
parking is
fees.
81,000.
Yes,
The
that's-
parking meters is 50,000, and
Right.
then we have 249,000 under parking garage fees. But how do we get to the 249,000?
that's not,
It should be 90.
that's not right, is it?
It should be 90,000.
Well, it says
According to
to
the,
Could be
according to the contract with D'Angelo's, that should be 90,000.
I'm only asking.
But there parking meters,
Parking meters are
Are
50. Monthly
81
parking
is
permits
81.
are 81. And then we have 249 under parking garage, and I just don't understand that.
Is that for the other garage? The other garage?
We don't have enough.
no.
You have, no, or lot, the other lot.
No, the lots,
The,
No, that would be monthly or parking meters.
let me just say this, parking authority earned that much.
no, they didn't. I had according to
What
the
do they
last,
have their budget?
according to the last 5 audits, their parking meters averaged 74,262, and their monthly rentals averaged 82,113, according to the last 5 audits.
What was
parking-
that
the-
last number, Jeff?
82,113 for monthly lot rentals, 74,262 for meters, and 60,714 for garage and monthly garage rental.
7,000?
So roughly 60,000.
60,000.
What was the total?
60 came out to be 224,000.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, their total income was
No.
near that.
No, if you
What are
look
you
at the
saying?
total, Joe.
I don't have that in front of me, but
Okay, if you
he's
look,
saying it's,
the total underneath, these are line items, Mr. Mayor.
No.
Parking meters, monthly
me-
parking.
explain
the-
this. You're talking the income from the garage, a slip that nobody has but you, from the parking authority, I mean. Right?
Okay.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
This is
You
from
had
the
the
audit.
audits, you said.
This is from the parking authority audits.
Right, and you came to 200 and some thousand dollars,
Total.
total.
But that's
Right.
that's including 60,000 as the parking garage, which now we're going to get 90. The contract with D'Angelo's is going to give us 90,000.
77.
Well, they're going to adjust that part to 35 spaces. It's going to be 7,500.
They'll adjust it up to
We're
90,
going to
to be
adjust
90.
that.
They're gonna
So the parking garage is 90.
Okay.
The monthly rentals should be 82, and the meter should be 75, which would come to
So he has the meters at 50, and he has the parking permits at 81.
But then he has the bottom. See, I came up with 247 total. He has 249,
Right.
just the garage.
Just,
So-
well, he has a garage as a title, but I don't know if that's,
Yeah,
That's
and
100.
see down below there, Joe,
That must
it's for the
be,
grand total, it's 380,000. Now,
Yes.
the
That's
only way that
unrealistic.
comes about is if you add parking meters and monthly parking in with that, and the 90,000. So what he's done is he's put the 250 there. He hasn't used the 90 by mistake. So he's included roughly about $60,000 extra in that line item.
More than that.
No. it's more than that.
133,000.
133,000.
Dave.
I'm sorry.
130.
That's why I teach social science.
Yeah,
But you know, it's
No,
confusing.
Yeah, I know you're trying to say that he made a mistake, but I think he probably could explain it better than I do.
Okay.
That we did talk about this, that they had come to almost $300,000 an income. And then we were putting that together with ours.
What would be ours?
Well, we got a share of the meters. Let me see, well, he doesn't have it here, does he?
Yeah, it was,
Well,
For meters, again, I think it's 50.
see,
50.
he had 50, but it's actually, the total comes out to about
if you
70.
look at the
75,000.
approved 2014, that's 295,000. That included the garage. That number, if you look at the other numbers, it was 57, 46, 28, 30. And that one there had 295, which meant that
But that was
the
that was
parking
the
authority was going to be in there.
that was the budget number. I mean, look at
Yes,
the, look
right.
at the, look
So
at
that was including,
if-
and that's why this number is up.
if you look at the actual
It's
from
only 30.
2013, the city got 28,000 as our percentage of the meters.
Yes.
So if you add the 28,000 to the audit from last year of 224 from the entire parking, it comes out to 250.
All right, let me just get to the meters first. The meters for the first year was 57, and it was 46,000 in 12. Now this was under construction, and the meters were taken out. We went to 28. So we feel that they'll come back. So we should be back up by 50.
I understand.
That would only be our share. But they do take a share. So,
70/30, yeah.
Yeah.
In my budget, I have it 75. I'm higher than Tom with the parking meters. But the parking garage is where the problem comes in, because
the parking
there's
garage...
250 spaces.
Yeah, the parking garage should be 88.
It's 90,000, 250
Yeah.
spots.
That's what
So-
it should be.
So that's 100,
Right.
it's 149, 159,000.
Could you have him rework some of that and explain our problem with that one to him so that we can get
Yeah,
some
this one here,
information?
I can get you an answer for that, but from him. But I know that's pretty correct.
Yeah.
But I can't explain it.
And
The meters, I agree with the meters and the monthly. I just don't agree with the parking garage because we have a contract now.
when did we?
I think they're reversed there. I think the monthly parking meter permits should be 80-some thousand, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're leasing it. Well, let me put it this way. I'll have him change that as a lease number if you guys pass it, though. You haven't passed it yet.
No.
So I'll change
And if you could do me
the
one favor.
line item from one of those to lease, garage lease.
Do me a favor too, because again, I can't tell from here. I know the parking meters were out while construction was on, but they weren't out all over the place. I'm looking at the year-to-date. Now, I know we got 2 months to go, but I'm looking at a year-to-date here of only 12,467 for parking meters. Now, normally it
Those
is
meters
in the
were
range
out
of
all
30.
on Broad Street. Every one of the Broad Street was gone. They just went back
Yeah, and well, that's what I was
Spring.
asking. When did they come back?
in the spring, I think.
Spring.
Yeah.
Okay, so if maybe he can present some kind of projection too. I know you can do that.
Well, yeah.
There should be a mathematical formula for that. For
We
him
have
to do that.
history of the same meters in the same place. If it becomes more active, it'll probably be higher than the 50. If you guys would have passed Pango, I think that number would have went up too. But I'll have them check that out.
Okay. Go ahead, anybody else want to jump on in? I'll get my questions too when we get to some of them. Or you want me to keep on going?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, you're on the roll.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know. I see we've got the stormwater fee in there. You got $300,000 for the stormwater fee. I'm on still page 4-3. $300,000 for that. That's been computed
Where do you
already.
have that? Where is that?
I'm on page 4 of 23 under interfund transfers, and I am at, if I can square it away.
Right, 300.
Transfer from stormwater fee, 3392, 3207.
I have a quick
Right,
question. Let me
that's
jump
the-
in
Go ahead.
for a minute.
Go ahead.
Joe, I understand you put it in there, but why putting it in there when your last council only did it for 1 year? It hasn't been passed. Why is he putting that in there when it hasn't been passed? It was passed for 1 year. And that was your majority on council that passed it.
Yes, past the
But only for 1 year.
stormwater.
Yeah, but they only passed it for 1 year, Joe.
Yeah, I know they did. I know they did.
I mean, why are you assuming we would pass that?
I'm
Why-
not,
and-
I'm not assuming anything, Jack. If you go to page 20, go to page 20.
20?
What's on page 20?
What number?
The income.
It's, the top of that is the stormwater
Base.
fund revenue. That's for 15. We're asking that it be used for 15. This 300 is transferred in from 13.
We didn't collect.
From 13 or from 14?
No, we don't have, it was 13. We billed last year's.
So you're asking it,
30.
That would be transferred in this year, yeah.
13 has to go back to fill the stormwater fee.
Right.
The sewer
No, not
transmission
storm. I mean storm, not sanitary.
fee. Storm, it's,
Yeah,
the
storm.
storm is supposed to go back to fill,
look at that one.
to fill the sewer transmission fund,
Right.
but we can't use it twice.
Storm.
The storm was supposed to go back
Into the sewer transmission
into the
fund.
sewer by June 30th. That's the way the resolution read
Right.
last year. So you can't reuse,
That's storm, not sanitary.
but you just said the storm
This storm.
from 2000,
300,000.
the storm from 2013, It's supposed to go back to
into the
fill
sewer
this-
transmission fund.
it was an ordinance that was passed last year.
So, let me
is that
get
the
number
resolution?
3.
One I just
20.
handed out to you.
Mayor, 2013-120, a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from the sewer transmission fee fund to the general fund for a temporary period of time.
Time.
And that transferred,
Copy back there for you.
here,
If you look
go ahead,
at,
pass it over.
if you look at page 20, you'll see under stormwater management fund, transfer to general fund, there's $500,000 in stormwater for 14, which he transfers 300,000 into the general fund, and that's what that number is.
But is even that
But he's
legal? if
getting
it's-
money for 14 and transferring it in 15.
But is that legal if it's a dedicated fund to begin with?
Yes, yeah, it's dedicated for wages and materials and
No.
equipment used for.
Well, see, that's, we'll have disagreements about that as to what the dedicated fund really would end up meaning along the way, but that's certainly going to be an interest, of interest, I'm sure, to council as far as transferring that into the general fund when
Well-
you've got a dedicated fee
There should
for which
be-
that's supposed to be taken care of.
There's supposed to be wages obligated to that. It's in a breakdown somewhere.
Okay, if you can get us some information on that one, too.
Right.
Before you skip, go back to timber. 'cause we
Oh,
had-
you know what, the timber I can answer. The timber, we already got our $200,000 in advance for that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got that, was that last year or the beginning of this year that the
Where's that?
HCA advanced us to
Where's the
200,000?
timber at?
That's on, again, page 4,
Yeah.
uh,
I see it.
3380, 3505.
Yeah, there's zero.
Yeah,
we
it
don't-
is zero. The question was, but I think I know that one because I know HCA gave us $200,000 in advance for the timbering that they're doing, and that's actually somewhat of a gift because I don't think that realistically this year they did enough, but in another year or two they may catch up.
Yeah. Well, they gave us $200,000 in 13.
Right.
In the end of 13.
Right, but
Right.
that whole figure actually will not rise above that because memory serves me correct. You're only talking about 50 or 60,000 that they were actually timbering right now.
Oh, yeah.
This
well,
is an
no,
advance on
No, let me just
the
say
timbering.
this. Let me just say this. That there was no agreement beyond that. It was $200,000. That was it. That's all we were doing. We went out. We got a bid
Right.
for 200. They said they could get 400. So they said we're going to rebid it. We said we can't wait. They said we'll give you the $200,000. We'll rebid it and keep it, and that's what they did.
Oh, so
So
you're
we
not.
have nothing else coming. So if they sell 300, which I doubt, they'll keep the 300.
Well, but
Well,
no,
Joe,
I think
in the master services agreement with the HEA, if they do more timbering, that's part of the master services.
Yeah.
We did have an earlier maybe agreement about timbering, but the master services then took over. And if they
Right.
do more timbering, we could get that money.
yeah. My suggestion on that.
What we did was we looked at the whole amount of acreage they had and took a certain area, and that's what we put out for bids.
Yeah.
In other words,
And
in
they came back with
2013.
bids, and it was 200 and some $1,000. They said it was not enough. They got the guy come in, I don't know what his name was.
Well, the arborist is the one who worked the
he's-
deal on that, and that
right,
was a
he's
much
so-
better deal for everybody all around. But the money is even better too. But it's going to take 2 or 3 years for that
yeah.
because the biggest of the parcels of land really are down in Hudsondale and Buck Mountain. And there's a lot of money in the timber down there that
Okay.
will exceed the 200,000.
All right, that'll have to work out. All I know is that,
We really need to revisit that.
all I know is
that's
we
it.
have $200,000 was the deal, and we took the $200,000.
Oh, okay. But that's already done, so we're not looking at anything this year.
Anything above the 200,000 went to the water authority.
Yeah, they thought they were bidding the same parcels that we were and said they could get more money.
Okay.
That's yet to be proved, but,
Well, the arborist was, I mean, I saw the two, and again, it's not a night to get into all of that stuff, but I saw the two, RFPs? And the first one, unfortunately, was trying to look for every single tree above 4 inches, regardless of what. When the arborist came in, he said, here are the good timbering practices, here's the kind of money you could make on the timber that would be utilized, and here's the kind of money that you could be looking at. But that's in, I believe, 6 parcels, and I believe right now they're doing 2.
What kind
So
of cuts
this
were
was
they
in
doing? Were
advance.
they doing select cuts? What were they doing?
They're doing, you have to do a select cut. Yeah, you have to. The arborist would have approved nothing else. But in the original, it really did look much more like a straight cut. And that's why the arborist and some of the members of HCA put up a stink. Because it was not good, timbering policy. But, we could stay on that all night and talk about that one.
well, it's 0 this year.
Yeah, and that's fine. Are we not carrying anything over this year from the fund balance?
No,
No?
What
Do we have anything in the fund balance left?
we only had,
Unencumbered funds?
yes, we had some in that we used for an tax anticipation note. Forget what it was. It was 300.
Do we have
Something like
enough in the unencumbered funds to actually not worry about a tax anticipation note this year?
Yes, 14. You're talking 14.
I'm talking about this coming year.
One last year.
No,
I'm
this
coming-
coming year, no.
They didn't
used the store
No.
transmission fund.
We didn't.
We
No.
didn't,
There was none, there was no tax anticipation
no,
note
there
last
was
year.
no tax anticipation for 14 because we had a reserve.
And I guess what I'm asking is are we expecting a tax anticipation note this year? Or is there enough in the unencumbered funds, and is that what will be used?
In operating capital, I don't think we'll do it without a tax anticipation note.
Okay, so the unencumbered funds are, do you have any idea
It
close to
depends
where the
on,
unencumbered funds are right now, figure-wise?
What they are?
Yeah.
No, I don't have that.
Thanks.
I think we need
I
the
don't
audit
have
before we
that.
can figure that out.
Well, yeah, probably, but how much, do we have any idea what Tom would be looking for in a tax anticipation note for January? Because we're going to need operating expenses at least for the
As we
first 3
get
months.
closer to the end of the year, which another month will tell you, because if we can get the bills out. Last year, we had problems with the bills because I forgot, we piggybacked with the county, and then we didn't and they went out.
Yeah, no, that was,
They were
that-
supposed
yeah,
to go
last
out in
springtime.
January, they didn't
Not
go
this
out till
past
late.
spring, but the spring before that, they all came on out.
Yeah.
City and county came out
Right.
together.
Right.
And that was a big concern.
But that was good.
That didn't happen
That
this
was
year.
good for tax anticipation because we didn't have to borrow anymore.
Yeah, but that didn't happen this year. That didn't happen in 2014. That was 2013 that happened.
2014, they didn't do it in January. 13, they did it in January.
13 was the combo.
And they
14
comboed, and
14 we had
and
separated.
it worked out great for us.
14, you're saying we had unencumbered
So
funds
14, we had to do our own.
in the city. Is that
Right.
what you're saying? In 14, we had unencumbered funds left, which was used to start up the city in January?
Yeah, right, but I'm talking about,
The storm money we transferred.
well,
over.
13, when the bills went out in January, we started to receive money, in January, February, so we didn't have to borrow.
Right.
Then 14, it went out in March or April. We had to use the
Yeah, well,
incumbent fund.
March and April because of the
Right.
budget problem along
Right.
the way. I understand that.
So it
we
depends
don't
on
know
what we
this
do
year
this
yet.
year.
We don't know this year yet. Then where we'll be until later on in the year about unencumbered funds and tax
Right.
anticipation. note.
Right.
Could you get that information to
Yeah, I
us
have it marked.
as soon as you can?
I have
Not
it
a
marked.
convenience, but as soon as you can.
What's the transfer from the airport? Was that for gasoline?
What?
Transfer from the airport.
What page are you? That's in the back.
Page 4.
It's on 4.
Fund transfers.
Transferred into the fund?
Transfers from the airport.
Okay.
$10,927, Mayor.
I saw that number.
But there's zeros across the board until then.
See, Tom's changed, what Tom's been doing is he's changing because we pay them and then they reimburse us from their funds. And I'm looking to see where here's the airport here.
But all prior years, we weren't reimbursed. It shows
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah, well, they were
And there's a
reimbursed
few more down there, too,
at the
Mayor.
end of the year.
Mayor, if you could take a look down there at, even from transit and from community development, there's like another 8,400, almost 8,500.
From transit and from community, that's, can't be wages. We pay transits, we pay the parking authority, they're gone now. And community development. I don't know, I'm not sure.
I have a quick question, Mayor, on the parking. Did we take all the employees from them and took
Yeah,
them
there was-
in-house, everyone?
All the employees from the parking authority, there was 3 and 2 part-timers.
Then we took them all in, they're working?
We didn't take the part-timers because they stay with the garage.
Where did we put them, though?
They're staying with the garage.
One's with code,
We
one's with
took-
police.
Yeah.
We took John, Big John, he's the meter. We put him in the police department,
For the meters, yeah.
right? We took Debbie, who was the secretary, and we put her in the code office.
To take
she-
Diane's place.
Pardon?
To take Diane's place.
No. She's going to be still controlling the parking permits and the parking meters. She's still going to control that because I'm talking to D'Angelo Brothers. They have to sell to the public and to themselves meter spaces and permits. So we'll have them do it through here, and anybody that buys a permitted spot in the garage will be his money. But we will have one spot for the public to come, no matter where they're parking, they can come here and pay through that. And that's where Debbie's going to be, down in there, and she's going to be in the parking department. And then Danny's the last guy, he was maintenance, so we're putting him under the highway.
What's Danny's going with the highway?
Yeah, because he plows their parking lots and does all that stuff. So he does the same thing as the garage.
So that's what increased the highway salaries then, all right.
Yeah, you'll see a small increase in a small increase in all of them areas.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at buildings and plant right now.
Well,
and it
Danny,
jumps
what did,
about 50,
he
60%.
plowed the,
That's
he
not it.
plowed
All
the
the
area
lot.
around
All the lots,
lots.
all the lots. The Wyoming Street lot, the lot, I don't know what that's called, on Chestnut Street, behind the bank building, there's a big lot there. He plowed around the garage. We even do work for the transit, but that's different. But he parks all that,
Yeah,
anything
but
that
he's not
has.
going to do any around the rent of the garage, the lease garage. He's not going to do anything there.
Not at this time, unless D'Angelo wants him to do it. That's a possibility.
What's the transfer from the transit?
Yeah, that's a small amount, $6,000.
Right.
Don't know. I don't know what's, because their wages are more than $6,000. Those two, I don't know why he
They're-
put them
yeah. They're in a
They
separate
they
budget?
transfer money in, and he puts it in, that was never in here. And he started putting them in, and I'm not aware of those. Have you noticed, no other year before that, there wasn't any transfers
Right.
early? Now there is.
There's zeros all across
He's
the board.
changing
Yeah.
he's changing the system.
And again, this is not attempted to be a shot, please understand. But when I read the paper today, Mr. Prabula was saying that there's so many of these small line items that he didn't like, that he wanted to try to
Right.
consolidate.
Right.
And yet, it seems like he's breaking more things on out in some areas where he'd like to consolidate other areas. But he's the one that is using or is showing us
He's
a
showing,
lot more of where the money's been coming from, but not an explanation of what it's being used for or how or where it came
He,
from. And there's, that you can
this-
understand the
This
confusion.
transfer line items were not that big before. He's increased that, I think.
Yeah,
That's about it. Everything else has been the same.
yeah.
It's just that he wanted to show that there was being reimbursed.
Right.
Prior to this, they just didn't enter them.
Yeah. If I could ask a question on page 8, under professional services,
8.
Department 404, professional services. Now, I know this was
404.
one of your ideas for
Where's,
this
where's,
year.
oh, it's not
Professional
under-
services,
No, wait, let me finish. It's not 8.
or, I'd have my paper folded over, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm,
Page
page
7.
7. The only way that I can actually line them on up is to fold it
Yeah.
over, so
Okay.
I apologize.
Right.
You're talking professional services as a salary of $75,000,
Right.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a professional service, do we really spend $18,679 then on hospitalization if it's a professional service? Now, I know you've
Yeah.
mentioned something about hiring in-house,
Right.
but then it should be under, would it not be a legal department that you would put that under,
He'd be an
rather than
employee, he wouldn't
professional
be a
service?
It should be
service.
titled,
City
legal,
solicitor.
but they had professional services for, when we hired out, like Slusser and, our union,
Right.
union attorneys and,
Yeah.
they
But
went
hi-
under
his,
professional
his line
services.
item is up at the top, Mayor, under salary, okay, 5100. So shouldn't he be in 5105, city solicitor?
Ooh, where's 5105? Where's 5105?
It's under professional services. Now, look at the top, the salary where we have the 75,000 is 5100, and 5105 is services, city solicitor. I think that's where the salary belongs.
5105.
It's on page 7.
5105, same column, about
The right
two-thirds of the way down. About two-thirds of the way down. Next to special legal services as well, which is again quite high.
But the point we're trying
Yeah.
to make is where does this line item belong for whoever we're hiring as?
Well, this is just a clarification note. What we've done before is what we've had in our budgets for our solicitor, who was a hired contractor, so he was under services city solicitor, and the other one is professional services. So it's some title changes, but we would prefer it to be the legal department, law,
Where would he be, or she, be based out of?
right here in City Hall.
Do we have space that we are designating for that we would know of?
We have an office, you mean? Do we have an office?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Joe, one other question. You don't have anything for our labor lawyer? Or are we doing away with that with this full-time position?
Special legal.
Yeah, yes.
That's zero.
There's some that we can take. We hire for negotiation of contracts and special litigation, so
Well,
he could pick up a lot of that. I don't know if he can pick it all up, but I think he should.
it depends who
Yeah.
the person you hire.
Who the
Yeah,
person
but he'd
hired.
have to be like very
Right.
diversified in order to do these things.
Well,
So
that's how he's gonna get his 75. We were down there, we had 70, so with the medical and all, he should be able to make that up by what he's picking up. But let me just tell you this about having a solicitor in-house. We had that originally.
Right.
You remember that, Dave?
I
You
remember.
were here. We had a woman at first, and then we had
Right.
George Halutzik and so on. But that was probably the best thing we possibly ever had. When he was here, it wasn't that you called somebody and waited maybe a day or two to get an answer. You walked in his office.
Right.
You told him you got, I mean, it would be 10 times better. He would be at these meetings.
No, we're not arguing that issue. I'm in
I
agreement
think we're all in
I
total
think
agreement on that.
I think we all
Yeah.
agree that that's a good idea.
I would in fact go this far, because if I remember correctly, I served under when George was the solicitor, George Lidzik.
Right.
I would go as far as to say, although it's a real touchy kind of deal. The salary is for city solicitor and for the council, but what we did, I don't think that it was 100%. That was it, and you can do nothing else. But it was always based on, we got you first, and if you want to have a small private practice that would not impinge on what is going on in the city. If we need you for meetings, be it department meetings, be it whatever, that's your responsibility. If you have meetings at night, that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember, I think there was some latitude in allowing to have a small private practice, but it could never conflict.
Well, that wasn't it. We
Because,
did not allow.
I mean, what I'm saying is,
we did not allow him-
75,000 to a lot of people when you're a lawyer.
Once you start allowing it, He does a lot more work in here for himself than he did for the city.
Well, Georgie
And
was pretty good. Georgie.
No, no,
you
not
know,
George. I'm just saying, I think you gotta say no.
One or the other.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question. If he does do stuff in the evening, okay, will he get comp for that, like we do with Lisa?
No, that's gonna be part of the contract agreement. He has to show up here. I mean, he has to be at meetings.
Well, this is
Part
what you
of it.
hire on for.
Huh?
This is what you hire on for. If you're going to take the salary, then you got to dance to the music. I mean, we all do what we have to do when people pay us, right?
Right.
There
Joe,
you go. But-
Joe, I know, excuse me, Doctor, I see they don't have anything here for special legal services for counsel. Now, I know Judge Burke told you that we could have our own counsel when you went up there.
I don't remember that.
Well, that's what I was told. I wasn't
Well,
there. but
I know you weren't there.
I'll have to
I
confirm-
was.
I'll have to
No,
confirm that, but I
Well,
understand that's what
I'm
he
not
said.
I'm not gonna argue that point, but let me tell you, this is a better idea. This is a better idea.
Well, maybe if we agree on a solicitor, you're going to allow us to decide who the
Well,
solicitor will be, or
well,
you're going
well,
to
see,
confer with
Jack,
us?
now
He's
we're
gonna-
going into the fact that you talked about at the last meeting about what we're responsible for and what administration is responsible for. They're responsible for administration. We're our legislative body.
Yeah.
We don't tell them who to hire.
I know, but we're
Saying
allowed
that-
to
but you're,
have a
But
solicitor.
you're saying that we need to tell them now who to hire.
No, what he's saying is we're allowed a solicitor, and, you know, would be beneficial if we had a solicitor that cooperated with us.
Well,
Guys,
I'm
if
gonna,
we have, I mean, we're getting way off topic here from talking about the budget. But if there's a city solicitor, he has to come. It's part of his contract. He has to do
He
the
has
job.
to, wait, he has to do whatever
He
the
or
mayor
she.
tells him, Keith.
No.
He or she has-
He's gonna be
And if
appoint-
Prabhu's an employee and doesn't come to the meetings...
he's gonna be
'cause-
nominated by
'cause
me
Joe-
and approved by you.
I know, but our approval means nothing, Joe, and you know that.
What?
But Prabhu is the same thing. He's an employee, and because you tell him, he doesn't come to the meetings, which that I have a big problem with, and I have a big problem with Chris not coming to meetings either.
I know you do. I know you have a big
I
problem.
have a big problem with
But
that.
I've
And I'm
been-
sure we're the only city in
I've
the,
been to your
in the
meetings.
country that doesn't have a solicitor or the city administrator at their meetings. I know we are.
No, wait, Jack, you're losing
You
it here.
please
When
just-
you came on, you went and appointed your own solicitor.
I know we did.
Well, then why
Well,
should
he
I have?
hasn't been paid at all.
No,
That's
wait,
why he
no,
can't
wait, let
come
me
to the
finish.
meetings.
Let me finish. $125, $125. That's $250 a meeting. That was going to $750 a meeting night. That was crazy. You had a $125 guy. You wanted him, you got him. Now you're moaning you don't have Chris.
Well, I'm moaning we don't have a solicitor here, Joe. And you told him not to come to the meetings.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
That is not true. I did not tell, and you can ask
You know
any
what?
one of them.
How about Tom Prabula? Did you tell him
I
not
did
to come
not
to
tell him
meetings?
not to come to the meeting. This is his choice.
You told Tom Prabula not to come to
No,
the
I
meetings.
did not.
I was here at the meeting
No,
when
you
you
weren't,
said it.
Jack. Let me just tell you something. If you remember, I walked out of the meeting and he stood here. If he was paying attention to me, he'd have left with me. It's his choice. And I told him that. I'm not going to put you through it. You want to go, you go. Not here. Because he doesn't want to
Okay,
go.
let's move
Okay,
on.
we're
Let's
way
move on,
off
Joe.
the subject at
Let's
this
move on to
point,
the budget.
and you know what? These are things that we can deal with later. Right now, let's deal with the money situations because,
Okay, legal
you know,
defense.
we've got some time that we've got to deal with this. And some
Why-
of those
okay.
issues, maybe if we get through this, some of the other issues will work their way out.
While we're in this,
Excuse me, under legal defense, 5471, all right, expenses, under professional services. My question is, I know we've been paying the illegal immigration. Is that what that 5,000 is budgeted for, or what? Could
No,
you tell
that's
me?
not it. No. 5,000 legal.
It's the very last line item
Yeah, I
under
see it.
professional services.
Year to date, it's 4,500 and it's up to 1,000. We've
I
been
think-
high and low on that through the years.
I'm not exactly sure what this 4,500 is, and that's why he made it that $5,000 this year.
Because
We
we
have
had
legal
legal
defense,
expenses that were all the way up to 44,000 in 2013. And then I know we have been going into our money for the illegal immigration defense, and I was
No,
wondering if that was part of it.
No, that's never been part of the budget.
No, I thought that, in fact, I'm looking at the 2013 right now, and I thought there, if I remember an article about something on the order of 40,000 that the city gave towards that in legal fees. I could be wrong. I'm not perfect. I want to know that if we can research that and maybe, again, have Tom check and
Money
see
that
if there was money
through
put
the
towards
legal
that.
defense, what is it called, small town defenders? That was given to,
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much like empty right now, isn't it?
yeah, that's empty now. It was $500,000.
Okay.
But we did make payments, I know we did, because you had an article in the newspaper that said, and then we got money given to us from Texas.
Yeah. That wasn't
mean,
given
we-
to
we
us.
did
That
make
was given to
payments.
the legal defense fund, which is not in our budget.
No.
Well, it shouldn't be, but I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, I have invoices from the attorney that we paid out of general fund, and I'll have to go home and dig them out, but I do have them.
While we're in this section here, we have that $25,000 deductible. Is there a possibility we have any lawsuits that we're going to need to budget for that this year?
There always is.
But there's nothing in here. They took it out
Yeah, I
this
know.
year. That should
Never
be,
was. Where?
I believe last year we had it in there. I think every other year we had something in there. Yeah, special,
Special legal services.
404-5314. We always
404?
put in,
Special legal counsel, or
What
special
page is
legal
that?
services. No,
that's the deductible for any lawsuit that,
What page are you on?
I'm in the same department. Department 404,
Department 404, yeah?
line 5314.
Yeah,
Okay.
special legal services.
Now, that's the $25,000 deductible for
Special
any
legal
incidents that's
services
not covered.
That's probably not,
We're gonna need,
that's
probably
not,
need,
Maybe what you could do, Joe,
that would be probably other expenses or something like that.
could you
to be
direct
a-
Chris to send us a listing of any legal action pending or anticipated? Could you have him send it to us in an email?
Legal services such as Campbell.
I
and
can
Durant,
ask him.
they come out of there, okay?
we have a $25,000 deductible for a
Did
case.
that also come out of special legal?
I just know it was in there. I remember last year, that's why the 50,000 was in there every other year.
I know they were for specific lawyers that we were using to handle cases that Chris put in.
Yes. But there's also the deductible for incidents that we need.
Yeah, so the deductible.
So there should be $50,000 in
Line
there.
item for the deductible,
Okay.
period.
There's a lot of things we should have we don't have. I mean,
No,
the
I'm
person
just-
retires, the contracts that they have reads that they get so much for sick days, they get paid for vacation days, and then sometimes it ends up to be, the 1 year was $50,000.
Well, I'm sure that.
We don't have anything here for any fund like if a guy up and says, I'm retiring.
I know.
We owe him that money, so.
We
But you're saying
we
it's
brought
not
that up a
broken
little
down.
while ago.
Yeah,
It should
see-
be in here too.
That should be, that should
What
be
you're
in here.
saying
But I
about-
think we have 2 pending lawsuits this year that we should be prepared
Yeah.
for.
Well, yeah, we have
I
a
think it should be-
deductible, on everything.
I know I just think we should have 50,000 in there for them 2 cases that I'm sure we're gonna see this year.
This gets me,
You're saying put it in
I think
legal
there's, I think
service.
there's a
That's
lot
not-
of stuff that's
You
missing.
mean court costs or
Just the
other
deduct,
expenses or?
It would,
I'm not,
it would either come under other expenses,
Yeah,
but I would still rather have it
it still needs to
for,
be in there.
Well, you could amend it and put it in.
I know, I'm just throwing it out there now.
So what you're saying to us, Mr. Mayor, is because of the retirements and the holidays and everything else, you would like it broken down that we could see what actually, for that
No,
$50,000 payment?
we have nowhere to pay them from. If you or somebody over there that's employed and had 20-some years in and had 120 sick days and had vacation days, and he says, I'm going to quit as of the end of the month, I would like a check for all that time. I don't have that kind of money anywhere. That's what I'm saying. There's no line item for a person that retires, and it adds up.
So
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we need
And
to have
almost
that.
any government agency runs into that same kind of problem.
Yes.
And as a contingency fund, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how to do it. It's, now you're talking about, however, the morals and the ethics
Well,
and the
you have to
legality of it.
anticipate basically who you think are going to retire, like,
Well, you have to. There's no two ways about it. You almost have to put out a questionnaire at the beginning of the year. Is there anybody who is anticipating? Now, it's not a perfect, because somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody is, halfway through. You turn around and you say, you know what? Physically, the doctors are telling me I can't do this anymore, or whatever else. But at least if we had a questionnaire that we had, are there in the police force, in fire, in the city, is there anyone contemplating a retirement this year? It's not perfect, but it could give you.
It give you an indication.
Yeah. I mean, we always hear about, whether it be in school districts, whether it be in county, whether it be in whatever, there always is an anticipatory retirement that you can go through. It's something that we may want to look at.
Okay.
Again, if no one else, I'm going to go to page 9. I'm still not quite clear, and if you could enlighten me a little bit, that would be helpful.
I want engineering.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Under 5100, engineering salaries, would that be Alan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's under there. I don't know if he belongs under engineering, but
And
That's where he is.
Contracted services would be Benesh, so you're only anticipating 55,000 for Benesh this year?
that's what's in there.
In that section.
Okay, now, is
Yeah.
he getting paid anywhere
Where-
else?
What is,
On the bottom of page 8.
page 7? That page 8? Where?
Under contracted services.
Yeah.
5450.
Yeah.
Is Benesh being paid anywhere else, like the airport
What?
or anything else? Maybe we need to
Well,
consolidate.
we
some-
use the engineer quite a bit.
but
That's a low, that's a
We don't
low.
have a true accounting of what we actually pay him because it's scattered all over.
No, he's mostly under here. I don't know if there's, in the airport, if there's leave, that's a separate fund. There's,
Because there was engineering done in the airport, so I'm
Yeah,
assuming it
yeah,
was
yeah.
him. So we know, have an accurate amount of what we've actually paid him.
I don't see it under there. It's not under the airport.
When we talk about engineering salaries, be it 5,100 or we have contracted services for 55 as well. That first salary, 55,474 on top, and I'm on page 8, engineering, Department 408, 5,100. Okay?
That's, that
Yeah.
engineering?
Yeah. Now,
5,500?
yeah.
55,000?
That's a permanent position?
Yes.
Yes, that's Alan.
Okay.
Wolfus.
Because what I'm asking then is, we've got the 18,679 is the healthcare, because that is a
That's
full-time
for
position.
Alan.
Yes.
That's a full-time position for that.
Contracted services under
That's
airport.
Alan,
He's not contracted, he's an employee.
yeah.
As an
No,
employee.
no, under airport, when, I'm going back to
Oh.
Benesh, because he said he couldn't find it. If you look on page 21, under airport expenses, 009,440,5450. We have to get this printed bigger, Lisa, my glasses are not. It says contracted engineer, contracted services engineer. That's what I'm saying.
10,000.
If he
Yeah.
skips
There's
all
10,000
over.
there, yeah.
Well, the reason it's, they're all
Have
over,
to
it's a
separate the
separate
airport.
fund.
Yeah, I understand that, but I would like to have a way to have a better accounting of what he's made as a total for engineering services.
Is that Alan again?
No,
This is Benet.
That's
That's Benesh.
They,
Dominic, not
Alfred
Benesh.
Benish or another engineer could be, I don't know. We're,
Because in 2013, he made $27,913 under the airport.
Yeah, I was looking at I have some of his bills. That seems to be low. I don't know, they're taking it year to date. I mean, his bills, I don't know how he separated because he puts everything into one big thing, and I don't know even if Mr. Babula is separating it, because Dominic will put a paragraph, which I think is totally wrong. I wouldn't even pay his bills if I was in Tom Babula's spot, because other people in other municipalities haven't paid his bills because of the way he does them. But he'll put a big narrative, a big sentence, and say, 23 hours, $4,000, and in it you'll have the airport and other things. He doesn't break them down, which I think is a problem with the engineer and with Dominic. Which, by the way, it should be bid out. It's not a professional service. It should be bid out. It's bid out in every other city in the state of Pennsylvania.
I have, Mayor, I'm still, again, I need an explanation on I'm back at page 5100, under Department 409, and I still need more of a clarification on the 2015 budget. How many more employees are we picking up in building and plant that the
Salary jumped
the
from
salary
50
jump is 50 to 60,000.
That's City Hall.
Health insurance is rising, as it looks like it would be approximately 2 people, but is that 2 people being added there again, or what? Because you're looking at health, you're looking at, I'm getting real familiar with Medicare being that close, 85, 60.
Yeah, I agree. It's a considerable
I'm not
jump.
sure. Life insurance,
The guy
workers' comp.
that was at the parking authority, is he full-time or part-time?
he's full-time.
Okay, so he's full-time.
This is City Hall workers, this isn't the
No,
grocery.
this is City Hall.
Oh, sorry.
Hall maintenance guy.
Yeah, City Hall maintenance.
Yeah,
So
so
there's,
It looks like 2
we have
full-time.
2 full-time
It looks
maintenance.
Right.
But you've already taken care of the 2 full-time that we have. This is an additional 50 to 60,000.
Page is that on, Dave?
It's on page 9, and it's the very first one, 5,100 maintenance salaries. And the budget is calling for 129,438.
Yeah.
Year to date has been 57,075. Again, I know we got 2 months to go, but the average cost in past years has been 66, 69, and 72, and now we're jumping to 129.
29.
Are you hiring another maintenance guy, Joe, or what?
I'm not sure about that number. That number there shows like it's one person because health insurance went up the amount.
Health insurance went up to cover another person,
Yeah.
but one person
So it
at
went up for
another
one
50 to
person.
60,000 would be a
Yeah,
lot,
that's
don't you think?
something else is
There's
there.
Something wrong there.
That's
Something
more than
else
one
is in
person.
there that let's see, maybe in 14 it was 89 or.
Yeah.
It's,
So, I mean, that's a substantial
it's
jump.
$30,000, $40,000, $40,000, sorry.
Well, yeah, and I'm
So
looking
maybe,
at,
I
I'm
don't know,
looking
he's not
at
40,000.
13, 7273, and now
Yeah, he doesn't
really,
make
I mean,
40,000.
there's a lot there. You may want to take a look at, now, again, if you take a look at
Yeah.
the health insurance, it looks like it would be a +1. But the salaries don't
Health insurance.
represent.
Oh, it looks like it's
Have
plus
two
one, but
full-time at 19,000 a
I have
person.
a question too besides that, for communications.
That would
Okay,
be
is
single.
that their
If they're
cell
single.
phones, or
If
what
it's
is that?
family, that would be 1.
what?
Under
It's about 19,000,
communications,
we have two full-time,
is
so
that
it's
their
38.
cell phones? That would be 50,
I can't hear you.
oh, sorry,
got that.
5321, under communications, is that their cell phones?
5321 under communication.
35,000.
That's up to 58,000.
Still 19,000.
Yeah, it's always been around
No.
Yeah,
57.
57, but I'm asking, is that for cell phones?
Why would it only be no, the building and plant?
It says communications.
Yeah, I know.
What do we have in
It
communications?
won't be
That's
cell
this
Yeah,
phone.
I'm
building.
not sure what the communication was
That's
either.
everything in City Hall. That's all the phones in City Hall.
Is that all
It
the
could be
phones in
the
City Hall?
phone system.
Yeah.
Okay,
System.
that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
why it's under just on the buildings, but,
Yeah.
apartment buildings, like my buildings are in there, and I think also
yeah.
heating fuel costs.
Because there's communications in different departments I saw, so I didn't. It's all for the phone system. Yeah. All the buildings in the city. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
that's only because it's again, about an $11,000 rise, and, I know it sounds nickel and dime, but it's not to the people
But
when you have to pay
11,000
the
is a lot of
taxes.
money. you know.
Where's 11,000?
Well, it went from 57,000 to 474 to 58,000.
We still have 2 months left to go this year.
Was
No,
fif-
and
No,
I
this is
understand that.
actual
I understand that,
from
but
It was
2013.
51, 57, now it's 58.
Yeah, it was 57,000 in 2013, and now it's 58.
Yeah.
It's
It's just-
$526.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not much.
On page 10, under Police Department 410, and let me, I'm in the same problem with these eyes. I can't see.
Yeah,
And I
we
broke
need
my
bigger
glasses.
I
broke
can't
my
see.
glasses.
Lighting isn't that good
This is
here
the overtime. In the overtime, we've been talking about, 165 this year. Now, maybe Chief, you can help answer this one along the way. Are we still anticipating in the next 2 months, what would be about $40,000 more in 2 months in overtime?
It's about 18,000 a month average there.
Because we started with overtime in 11 at 77, then we went to 190. The big increase was in 2013, but we're jumping with 2 months to go, about
I
40.
think
But
Is
the
it
year-to-date,
20?
Dave,
No, I'm just saying, is it
the
20,000
year-to-date's
a
only
year?
through 10/8, so that's almost 3 months total.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's almost a quarter of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
And so if you do a quarters on 60, divided by,
Yeah.
we
you just
get
divide that
we
by
get
3, you're at
reimbursed.
over 50-some thousand.
Yeah, how much do we get reimbursed
It's
for
on the
that
front
then?
there. It's
I don't know where the 205,000 comes from, because in 2012 to 2013, we changed the way that we documented overtime based on city council's request, saying that it used to only show overtime.
100,000.
Then we changed it to show even if we were going to be reimbursed overtime, they wanted to see it. And so Steve Hahn 2 years ago changed the way that we showed it. So when I come here to 165, saying that in 2015 it's budgeted for 205 instead of 269 or 272. The 205, I'm not sure if that's the anticipated overtime and the mandatory overtime, or just the mandatory overtime, or where the 205 is coming from. The reason why it's 165 instead of 205 is because I can't control when the reimbursable overtime is worked and reimbursed. So if the narcotics division has only worked $65,000 of the $100,000 we anticipated they would work that's going to get reimbursed, then it's only going to show 65,000. The same with the DEA, the same with the FBI at the time. But the reason why this is down is because we took our person off the FBI task force in February, and so we're not paying that overtime that we were being reimbursed. So you're going to lose $1,500 a month for 8 months. You're going to be down, almost, $20,000 just because we took somebody off of a task force also.
Okay.
I'm not
I
sure.
want to correct you one thing,
Chief, could I say one thing?
Sure,
Go ahead,
absolutely.
Joe, go ahead.
There's $100,000 reimbursement of overtime
Yeah.
on page 3. So,
The whole thing with the reimbursement and the other thing is, what was happening was Mary Ellen, and I don't know, Steve, I think he had heard me that you have to account for everything that comes to the city, and it was the auditors who said you have to account for everything.
Sure.
You can't just, if something's reimbursed, you just don't put it in the budget.
Right.
You have to account for it, and everything
Right.
has to be accounted for.
I'm not questioning it. I was just explaining to
Wasn't-
Dr.
we just-
Sosar.
We just
No.
didn't want that.
Right. I was just explaining why
Yeah.
in 2012 it was one level, in 2013 it was here. It was because we changed the way that we were keeping track of it. But with the reason why we're only at 165, part of it is that we took somebody off of a task force, didn't fill that position, and so we're not paying overtime that we would have been reimbursed.
Okay.
And
You lead me into another question that is more processed than it is on the budget, so please excuse me. But I'm probably going to pose it to you and to Donnie and to the mayor and everybody. Normally speaking, and the only way that I've ever worked with budgets when I was in the school system, when I had to, because as a department chair I had to. Keith, you may be more familiar with this as well, with the school, when people come to you and say, what do you need for your classroom for the year? Does each department put together their own budget first as to what specifically your needs are for this year? Now, there's a wish list budget, and then there's the actual budget that you really need. And somebody, whether it be the mayor or Tom Perbula, comes down and says, you know what, you're asking for this much, and I can't get it. I can't get it. Okay, you got to cut. You got to
the
cut.
answer is yes.
And is that how it's done?
yes, it is done like that.
in-house?
And the
Okay.
wish list budget never even gets presented to you.
Your
Oh, no,
capital
I know,
purchase.
I know. And it never did either when,
Right.
I mean, I would be told when I put together for my department as social science teachers, you know what, you've asked for this much, now slash it by 50%. And then I'd have to go back to them and say. So I'm familiar with that. But, and that's why I'm asking, is that the same process that you guys have to use here?
Yeah, that's what
We do, the directors
starts
meet
back in
with,
September.
they meet with Tom, and they do go over it. They can't, we don't have wish lists because we can't.
We
What
can't
we
afford
do
it.
is really verify the numbers, and, like last year, we spent this much on car repairs. Are we gonna do that again this year? And no, because we had 2 engines blow up. We don't expect it, that kind of stuff is discussed at those meetings. We just verify more than, put
Yeah.
a wish list in.
And again, like I said, there's a wish list and there's a real budget, and I understand that.
Capital
But the fact is, how hard, and again, don't take it as a shot, but how hard have you guys looked at this and gone through your own cuts already to say, this is what it's going to be, guys, and here's what we're going to do, and here's what we're going to live with?
Well,
Or is
if,
that
if
kind
you're
of where
going to
we're
ask
at right
that
now?
question, we do actuals. Look at the actuals. I mean, how they've
Right.
been holding true, and
Right. Right.
it's their
I understand.
expenses that we have, and we can't change totally like you would want, say, oh, cut that by 50 or whatever. It's really difficult. Every year we
Well, Mayor,
either are in the money or over the money.
Mayor, you can understand, that's why I asked some of the questions that I did when I saw something that was excessively higher,
Yeah.
that I asked about it, and, you know, that's some things
Yeah.
that we got to check out.
No, you would notice it in here.
No, I wasn't on 19.
Okay.
I
Why
was,
is it?
I
why
was
is-
looking at 15, I was looking at page, or no, excuse me, 10.
Yeah, why is, Joe, why is 19 with the public safety, the previous years,
What
there's
page?
nothing in there?
Page 19.
Yeah. You have 19 there? Why is there's nothing in there for the previous years?
It was never used before.
Why?
No, I mean, you had salaries, they were always there.
This is the
Why
new,
on
this is
page
the new-
19? What?
That's the new that whole new 1 mil tax.
Oh, that's the
That's-
separate.
that's
Oh,
the
it's
one
a
he's
separate.
proposing.
Okay, that's
This,
separate.
That's a separate.
That's a safety tax.
One. I was wondering that too.
No, that's separate, they separated that.
Yeah.
We've taken all snow plowing in hand, or in-house.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, we've taken all the snow plowing in-house because I'm looking at Public Works on 14, and we used to have, all the way back in 11, 139,000, but it's zeroed out ever since then. So we're
14, Dave.
Where are you?
on page 14, Public Works for Department 430, and I'm at 5450. We've been
Contracting services?
contracted services, so we're plowing everything in-house right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That may have been.
I don't know, that, Joe,
I-
that can't be. No, we've
I don't
used,
think that's totally correct.
that's not right.
No, wait.
We've used contractors.
Street maintenance.
I think you might find it in the back under liquid, is it?
The
under
office
liquid
is
fuels?
building supply.
You know what? If I could offer a suggestion on that one,
You have, I don't have
and
a
this is
12
not,
You have a 12 budget, Joe, or 13 budget. You have the previous budget.
It's on here.
No, but you have the previous one that was done,
Diesel.
that we had, or copies.
without getting into a
Just it's here, not
conflict
with
on contract,
I have it
Mayor,
on the internet.
Mayor,
Yes.
without getting into contract conflict, and that's a touchy subject, I'm not a contract lawyer, but I think that's where maybe some of this business with that master agreement might be able to help us on out. The Water Authority does have plows, and they do, I know that they've helped us out at times, and that may be something
Yes.
that we can negotiate and sit down on at least some areas of the town that are close to them, and you know,
what page?
their smaller pieces of equipment may very well be able to help us.
Yeah.
So I think
They-
that's something we
they've,
should seek and
I
negotiate
know
if we
they
could.
cooperated with the
Look on
city on
page 23, excuse me.
whatever.
I'm sorry.
That, you'll find, I'm sorry, you'll find the snow plowing. On page 23.
23?
That's where they have the snow plowing and supplies and it's under highway.
On pa-
Yeah, but that's, it's not really saying.
That's highway aid.
Yeah,
That's the
but-
salt and the
That's where we
cinders.
Yeah.
That's
spend.
just our salt and
Yeah.
stuff, that's not our plowing? Okay.
No.
Well, he has contracted services, 42.6. Joe, what's that?
$42, 42,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40 on contracted services. It's been zeros previously, but I know we use,
We use people to plow.
we had help. I don't know if last year, yeah.
Yes, we did.
Didn't
Yeah,
have-
we, sometimes we have to use to haul. Like, we'll plow.
Yeah, I know,
But then
but
we
we
plow it
use
up and we can't get it out of there
Somebody
quick enough.
last year,
Yeah.
the year before, we always use people.
Right, but where he put that, I'm not sure.
I mean, again,
Maybe it's
something, if you can check on
It
for us,
could be
that'd
the
be a help.
42. I have that checked, yeah.
Yeah, because it's under contracted services, under public works, it says no, it says zero, so it gets confusing.
Yeah. Well, I'm checking that one.
Yeah, I'm working backwards, Mayor, and one of the things that I took notice here, and I'm on page 21, okay, for your reference, airport fund expenses. Airport fund expenses.
Yeah.
And I'm at number 009-440-5122,
Right.
okay? Airport manager.
Yes.
The airport manager certainly is getting quite an increase in salary there, isn't he? From actually getting about, even if you go from past times, he's getting a substantial, about a $14,000-15,000 raise.
We had a different manager in, and we brought in a new manager in 14, and this is what his salary will be in 15.
Joe,
The other two were the previous manager.
on the previous manager, I was at this meeting and told you not to hire that guy who had no experience. We sent him to Chicago twice, I think.
Yeah.
That cost thousands of dollars, and it was a waste of money. But just so you know, I told you so. Okay?
Do you know why he quit?
No,
Oh, okay.
we didn't even meet the new one.
Why did he quit? Tell us.
Well,
Was-
you know. You
was
just
he
told
quit
me.
or was fired?
You
What's-
told me so you know
Well, I
everything,
told you
Jack.
we shouldn't have
Jack,
hired
you don't
someone
know
who
what
never
happened.
worked
You
at an
don't know what
airport.
happened, and so
But we
I
at least
think you
met
should
him
talk from
when he
experience
got
and not
hired.
just-
Well,
This new manager, we haven't met Joe. I mean, at least the last one that came in, he was introduced to us, but this new man, I
Never-
don't even know his name.
Never met him?
No,
okay, and,
Okay.
but let me get back to, here, if I can. And I'm in the still same column, okay, if I can push this down right. AV fuel purchase.
What page?
Year to date,
what
this is.
one? What did he say?
I'm at airport fund expenses, 009-440-5233, AV fuel purchase. Year to date, we're at 115,146.
Right.
That's pretty low. I cannot, even this is, and I agree with Keith, there's a quarter to go yet, but to put in 78,000 for next year,
278,000?
278,000. Even in past years, that's about a $30,000 to $40,000 increase. Again,
This
if
new
he
manager
could,
came-
I'd like to see him maybe if he could explain that. If you can get to him and have him explain that.
Well,
I
'cause
think,
that's
I
about
think
a
he's been
40.
buying the fuel in the winter when it's cheaper filling the tanks.
You're right. Plus, we expect more traffic out the airport. Since he's been there, we've had more jet traffic. since
Joe,
it's been-
I was out the airport a couple weeks ago. It's a mess. Everything's half done.
What's a mess?
It's a mess. You walk into the airport, it's
The terminal.
the terminal's a mess. It should be, there's work half done.
Right,
There's ceilings hanging down.
right.
Wasn't there supposed
It's
to
all
be
How
a...
come?
donations.
How come?
Donations, Jack.
Huh?
It's all donations.
Well, I understand about donations, but you shouldn't get a donation and spend all the money and then half the work's not done. I mean, that's common sense to me. If you
Yeah.
have a donation of $5,000, you do $5,000 worth of work. You don't do half of the work and then there's wires left hanging and it looks like crap.
Well, Jack,
Well,
We have
Dominic's in charge of the airport. Your cousin.
let me, no,
And
no.
I have a problem with
No,
it.
Jack, second cousin.
Thank you for that clarification, Joe.
Okay, and here...
Now, let me explain to you, Jack.
Yeah.
This person donated his time and materials when he can. He's a contractor. He has a business he runs. When he gets time, he comes out. It's not costing us any money. So when he does it, he does it. That's the deal.
Well,
And you're going to
is it
have
gonna
an
go on forever?
you're going to have an income. All right, I'll have him come and call you, and then you could tell him he better get done and better get
have
done
him call
now.
me. I'll tell him what he should be doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know you will.
Time
I know
out.
you will.
Time
Okay,
out.
let's
Love
go.
to
Let's
see
move
it.
on.
Time out. Mr. Mayor, one of the things under there as well, and maybe this is where some of that repair is being done or whatever, I'm not sure. 009 444-5470, other expenses. Now, they've all been zeroed on out until, in year-to-date, $4,177.
Are you still in the airport?
yeah.
Yes, sir. $4,177 under this year's year-to-date money. But next year, there's 10,000.
Interest earned.
So you're talking about roughly a $6,000 increase on
But-
other expenses. And again, that would be, is that going to be for the terminal? Is that going to be for fixing up the airport? Is that, it's a $6,000 increase that, again, there's no accounting or explanation for. And it's really under one of those quote, real general kind of
Are you
topics.
saying other expenses was decreased by $6,000?
No,
What do you
it
say?
increased.
It's increased by about 6,000. A year, it had zero
Sure.
out until this year.
On the
And-
airport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has $4,177 to
Are you
date.
talking about line item 5,300?
5470.
5470.
Oh, there's two on other expenses. One is 5,300, and one is 54. So that's probably what happened. 6 was up here and zeroed out and it's put down there.
Where?
Why?
I have
Halfway
no
up,
idea.
under 5300, there's another other expenses.
Right.
5300, okay. But
Two of them, which,
there's two other, but neither one of them quite explain anything that's happening. If you could get us information.
In the next 2 weeks, it jumped up to $8,200. So they spent $4,000 at the end of October. But just saying.
Where?
If you look at the October 31st year-to-date numbers, it's at 8,100. So they must be doing some work.
But what is the question?
well, the numbers don't tell you. I'll have to find out.
Yeah, if you could find out.
I have that marked.
Why are there two line items for it?
I don't know that one. Maybe he's trying to eliminate.
yeah,
He's trying to
here's the-
eliminate one of them. Is probably what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, we
And
already.
eliminate it because there's money in it. For last year, next year will be eliminated.
I'm looking at the last page, and I did have, and we've already answered this one, with the contracted services under highway and funded expenditures. 035-433-5460, contracted.
You said you're looking at
That's
the
the
last
extra
page?
plowing.
What
That's-
last page?
That's the last
Page
page
23.
23.
Page 23.
Page 23.
What was your line item
That was
number?
that was the extra plowing, I think you said.
No, they said that's salt purchase and whatever. Is that
Yeah.
plowing as well?
No, we have that snow and ice material supply up above at 120,000.
Okay, oh, you're looking at contracted services, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at contracted services, and
That's
there
the
are
one that's
42.
40, I have
That's
a
got to be
question
the
on it.
extra plowing
The
there.
42,600, yes, I have that marked.
That has to be is it plowing?
It could be the loader. They might have moved the loader payment from the sword transmission fund over there.
Whatever.
It's not in the other one.
Yeah, it doesn't explain it here, so.
No. You know what, can I add, and a question that I don't know that it appears here in the budget anyplace, but are we investigating purchase of, as we get now to the end of the year, because we're probably there on tar, are we going to purchase any amounts of tar at the end of the year from these?
Tar.
From the companies, so that we can use the asphalt, so that we can mix that with that which we have a lot of, and really continue throughout the rest of this year, because that was one of the suggestions, that if you do a
Dave.
little bit of a mixture, it's an advantage.
Yeah, I think that is an advantage, but it doesn't mean that
We can't purchase
that they
it this
can't.
time of the year.
No. But what I understood, and I talked to the guy in Kingston, it doesn't mean that you can't just use the recycled
Oh, no,
material.
I understand.
And from what I understand, Frankie says we have a mountain full of it.
Yes.
And hopefully we,
The
Oh, right now,
machine is a 4-ton?
6
and-
ton,
and-
Joe.
Yeah.
4.
6.
4.
That's what he told me. He said it was 6.
He said he
Well,
thought.
I'm telling you,
He
it's 4.
told me the 4.
You told me
Okay,
it was
well,
for
as long as it's working, we need to
doesn't
keep it
matter.
working and make sure these potholes during the wintertime just
Yeah.
get filled, please.
But there's
Okay?
an advantage to it at this time of the year, when it's cold out, that he could use regular tar, and that would keep it, like regular tar cools while it's in the truck, so I got to hurry up. He doesn't have to do that anymore. But we have so much milling that
This is
it's
good.
going to work out well, but we have to screen it. That's the only difference, because
Okay,
Yeah, this is good for now, for the
Yeah.
winter. We can use all of that, what you're saying,
Yeah.
with being screened all winter long.
Right.
See, there's a time limit, a cutoff for your asphalt to
yeah, and
purchase.
that's all that I was
So, I mean,
suggesting,
the-
because
The,
if there is a
the
time
asphalt
limit.
plant closes down at a
Yeah,
certain time.
but
yeah.
if they've got any at the end that they're, I don't know the business. So if there's any left and they're saying, we need to empty it out right now, and we can pick up a ton, 2 tons that we can
That
use
would've
to
been
mix
a
with,
little sooner.
that would be great.
We have
'Cause we talked
We have
about-
so much. When
Yeah.
they used the piles before with big chunks, and they just did an alley, and it looked like right out of the plant.
Okay.
Well, I think
No,
what you're
so-
talking about is when other contractors have
Yeah.
asphalt left. We did discuss that, to have a pile set up for pure virgin asphalt, like whatever they have left on their trucks during the course of the,
Yeah, they
the
could throw it right on the ground, and we'd pick it back up and melt it again.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But we have so much, we don't have to
Okay.
do that, really.
Okay.
The only problem we have with the milling is fine mills, there's dirt in it.
Yeah, it has to get
So-
screened out.
Okay.
And I think the garage said they were gonna make the screens and get them all ready.
They have a
I've asked
screen, but
questions that I
it
didn't.
hasn't been used
I mean,
in
I have
years.
more, but
Okay, maybe.
go ahead. Go ahead, I'm done.
Okay.
I'll
okay,
stop for now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can we go back to the beginning?
Yep.
No,
Mine will be a little interesting.
What page?
you got 20 minutes.
Page 1, we'll go right in order for you. Currently, we're collecting 86 to 87% of our taxes, the build-out taxes. So I think that number that he has built in there, $3 million, is a little high. Last year, we collected 88%, and I think he's still put in 91% collection rate. I think that
Yeah, I
we
know.
might have to look at 88% collection rate again this year, which would bring us down to 2.7 million.
That 88%, where did you get that from, Jeff?
The year-to-date collected compared to what's billed out.
Okay, thanks.
Wait a minute, you're
It's
telling
on that
me,
sheet that I gave you.
you're telling me 2015 budget should be lowered
Yes.
for income?
Yes.
Why?
Well,
Look,
if
look at year-to-date over there, it's 3 million.
the year-to-date's 2,667,000. That's the number he gave me.
Oh, you're talking up at top? That number and the 400? The two bottom numbers are almost alike.
The delinquent don't count there yet. But right now, we're collecting
It
87.
does count because you're collecting
I'm
delinquent.
going to get to that number next. I'm still on the first line. Right now, so if we...
Saying the 3 million is budgeted too high for
Okay.
2015.
That's like a 90 to 91% collection. Last year we collected 88%. This year we're looking at another 88%. So I think that number might need to be adjusted a little bit. Then the second line, I think we really have to consider not selling our delinquent taxes. If we have a little bit of money built up that we don't need a tax anticipation note, if we don't sell off to the redevelopment or the Luzerne County, we could bring in an extra $67,000 next year.
That was one thing we were going to ask, if you needed that money right away, or if Tom needed it right away, Joe.
That's the only good thing about that, is you get you get
Yeah.
a big chunk
Well,
check right off
but
the bat.
we could make more money if we
Yeah,
wait.
well, Tom did talk about not
we
doing that.
we should have the full $100,000 left
Yeah,
in this
he
that we
was
could
talking
use.
about not doing
Not to
that.
us.
The third line, he doesn't have any discounts. Historically, we've been given about 43,000 in historic, the discounts. So, I mean, that kind of brings my number down to 2,904,000. I mean, that's like almost $400,000, $500,000 short. on that,
According to your numbers.
according to, yes. It's just something that I'd like to talk to him about.
Okay.
We'll skip that one for now. In section 320, license and permits, 32, mine's different.
Page 2.
Okay.
It should be around it. Section 321, down there, 321, 3780.
3, 2,
The
1.
licenses. I think these numbers might be a little on the aggressive side.
Where's 321? 321.
Licenses and permits.
License and permits,
321
Page
3780.
up at the top.
Oh, yeah, and what's the one you were talking about?
Licenses.
3780 is the line item.
3780.
I think they might be a little bit aggressive, that and the rental property registration.
175?
Yeah, we only got 123 so far this year. So I think they might be a little bit aggressive. Same with the rental registration.
It's 3/4 of a year.
Yeah, but everybody, you're supposed to be paid, your business license is supposed to be paid by January 15th. So if it's not in by now, it's more likely we're not getting it. The,
217.
Rental property registration you were talking about.
right underneath it.
Yeah,
Three-
it has
321.
1,738 right now, but we're allocating 30,000 for that.
Thank you.
You see
I
it?
don't know about that one.
Yeah, I have that.
I just think they're a little aggressive to be counting on the revenue.
I have that marked too.
Let's see, the parking, we went over that. We went over this.
How about fines and forfeits
Where you at?
there?
Which one you at?
Fines and forfeits, 3120.
Violations
Year-to-date,
of
we have
ordinances.
$22,620 in, and we have budgeted 55.
55,000.
That might be a little aggressive.
I think the parking fines might be too, but that could be downtown. There's a possibility to collect that much. Then the parking's a little,
Yeah, ask how he came up with these figures, if you would, please, for 3120 and 3130.
Don't forget 3130. December's one of the biggest months.
the snowplow with the snow. yeah.
Parking fines. Yeah, but well, yeah, okay.
Well, but again, and I understand what you're saying, but that's a tough call to make, actually, because who knows what weather we're going to get. Yeah. I'm hoping for 50s the rest of the year. If you want the truth.
Live in Hazleton, Dave. It's not going to be 50.
Can't count on us not
Listen,
having
you
snow,
take
but
Plavix
then
and
again,
aspirin
suppose
every
we
day,
don't.
and you see how warm you are.
I've already painted my front porch in December, just so you know this.
And then,
Are the signs going up yet, by the way? Not to change the subject, but are the signs
I
going
think-
up? Are they up
I think they are
for
up.
the parking
Signs,
ban?
the sign's are already up.
They're up.
Okay, not a problem.
The, in the fire department, do we,
What page?
Department 411, do we, the volunteer firefighters' workman's compensation, don't we pay that out of the general fund? And that's not in here again this year? Because it's, well, it's not separate, but it's, because I remember last year we brought this one up, and it was like an extra.
Increase because of the cancer, the whole cancer presumption being on the, but I believe it's all in there together. I don't think it's broken out for one spot.
I know in 2013, we actually paid $120,000, and Steve had budget at $126. So I was just,
Now you gotta remember now that we are getting this
36,000, about 30.
I don't know what the discount
Okay.
is, I mean, I'm not sure, but I do know there's a discount in there, it doesn't involve that.
Okay.
I believe it's all together, workers' comp is all together.
I have a question, Donnie. Why under operating supplies is there a zero?
Because that's always been zero.
Yeah, but you don't use it
Good
as
answer.
supplies?
A lot of my supplies come from fire, and that's, I think that would be considered fire equipment. I've never had a line item in there. I don't think, as far as, like I said, a lot of my equipment that I purchase is hose and nozzles and all that comes through fireman's relief, comes through their companies getting their state grant money. Fireman's relief gives, they give a substantial amount of money every year to help.
So where do you get your soap to wash your fire engines with?
Well, that comes under, I think that comes under either
Vehicle repair and maintenance?
services,
Okay,
anything like that. One thing you bring up a good point with soap, soap for washing fire trucks. We buy a 55-gallon drum that lasts us about 4 years.
yeah.
Just because it's so easier, it's so cost
Yeah.
effective to buy a 55-gallon drum that lasts us over 4 years and keep buying 10-gallon.
Right.
Right,
I
right.
was just wondering why it was zeroed out. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can put money in there if you want.
Well, I'll go with my piggy bank.
And the other thing is apparatus-wise, we have in the community development budget to add some money for a fire truck apparatus.
Okay. That's the only question I had in your department.
I got a code question. For the contracted services from code, that goes to the Kyle, correct? And then, shouldn't that number correspond kind of with the, let's see, let me just get it right here. Department 413, 5450, contracted services
Wait a minute, contracted services in what code?
in code,
I have 5450.
5450.
And what's it supposed to correspond with?
With item 321, 3000. Isn't that where,
Under what?
Contracted services for code,
isn't that the use?
450, 60,000 for 2015?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and what are you comparing it to?
With the license and permits, the alterations, shouldn't those, if one goes down that much, isn't that like his rate? Wouldn't that kind of be higher?
I don't understand what you're saying you're comparing it to. I'm looking
Well, we bill it in the licenses and permits. We bill for his,
at contracted services.
yes, we bill under building alteration when they come into the office, correct? And then when it's back here is when we pay it out.
Right. Well, but there's much more than just what would be Kyle in contracted services. Any contract that we have, such as when we need to bring somebody in to fix the computers or fix a copying machine, all goes under contracted services. So Kyle's expenses, since he's one of the contracts, would be paid
There's-
out of that line item, but so would all of those other expenses, such as when we need something done with AccuFund, Pat from AccuFund, all of her bills for code are paid through contracted services for that code line item.
Okay.
So we might be showing that we're paying Kyle in one place 40-something thousand, and then when we're saying we're taking in something, but when we're paying out the contracted services, it wouldn't only be Kyle's salary, it would be all of the other contracts that come into play for code.
Okay, so that doesn't have to move along with the permits.
I have a question about salaries, Frank. It jumped from 93,000 in 2013. Year to date, we had 77, and right now we're at 157,814. Is that because there's?
That Debbie's going in there and there's the
That's Debbie and
three
Mike.
part-timers.
And Mike's in
Well,
there.
what happened with Diane's salary?
Diane's salary was,
Still in there, but not
yeah.
paid.
How much are you paying Debbie, Joe?
How much are we paying Debbie?
Yeah, the new worker.
Huh. Off the top of my head, she's getting paid what she was getting there. Debbie. I don't know offhand.
Okay.
I don't
okay.
want to say a number.
This goes right along with that, but you're talking part-timers, right, Mayor?
Right.
Okay, then there's a drastic jump
Full-timer.
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, there's a drastic jump there, and again, we go back to health and hospital insurance. There's a $12,722 jump in hospitalization, and if you're talking about either a single person or if you're talking about part-timers, that's a big jump. See what
We
I mean?
don't have health for
And
part-time.
That's 5192, Mayor.
Yeah, but it-
Yeah, but we
5192.
don't have, we
But
don't
our
have
health
health for
jumps.
part-timers. We only, this
I
could
thought
only
we did
been,
have part-timers. I thought we did talk about part-timers.
We do.
we
but
have
they don't get help.
part-timers working there, but they don't get health insurance.
They don't
But
get help.
that's why I'm saying there's a
Why is-
$12,772
Yeah, why did it go up to
jump there.
37?
You see it?
I think it's because of, I,
From the year-to-date 14,000 to a year-to-date budget of 37,000. 14 to 37.
That's even higher. Yeah, I was looking
No,
at
no.
I was looking just at the, and that's my mistake, thank you. I was looking at the year-to-date again, instead of moving over further left.
Right.
So it's even worse.
It's
So that- I mean, there's
17,000.
even more.
It's
there's a,
17 from the year before.
17,000 from the year before.
Who's
Well, that-
Getting that,
well, Debbie's gonna be on that, right?
Yeah.
She was brought over.
But
Diane
even
was
that would be,
full-time.
that would be
Well,
like a
the-
19
that's
or an
one.
18 something.
That's one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then if part-timers don't get the benefits,
and
Part-timers don't get it,
And
no.
Diane's not getting it, so what am I?
She's still,
Yeah.
it's still in there. Yeah, Diane's is still in there. You just
we just
didn't hire anybody.
We just didn't replace
Right.
her yet.
okay.
So find out why the big jump.
She's getting hired.
Yeah, because that would also affect FICA and everything else that you're looking at there. I mean, all of these cascade when you're talking about the workers.
And I got the same question, I guess, with the recreation fund and the debt service, with just the collection rate. Recreation funds in
Hang on.
back there.
Hang on.
Where at? I'm going ahead.
Recreation would be on page 18. Recreation, what line item?
Just the first, the tax rate. He has 100,000 in there, and I don't even think we bill out that much,
For recreation?
the recreation. But
Which line item, I'm sorry? I didn't
first
hear.
one,
For
3,100,
wages?
not wages.
Oh, no, up above, okay.
Recreation revenue. Again, the collection rate, I think, needs to be looked at, which would bring it down to 79,000. And then the delinquents, he has no delinquents in there.
Where you at, Jeff? What page?
The
Page 18.
page 18,
We collected 95,000.
I don't even think we billed out 95,000, according to, recreation should only be billed out $90,557 total billed out, according to we have $1.6 million in property, so we should have only billed out $90,557. So something's not right if it's just not allocated correctly, or if it's lumped together with delinquents that are coming in. But he has no
I think-
delinquents.
To me, it looks like, I don't know, he has prior years stuck in there.
He has prior years, and they're all 81,
Yeah.
83, 81, 80,
80.
81. I mean, they're all in the 80s, and now year-to-date, we're at 95,439, and then we're budgeting 100,000.
We don't even bill out 95,000.
So he has, maybe he has prior year to date in there. Prior year,
But I just think that needs to be looked at, because then that would kind of have to adjust all the recreation expenses. Then at the end would be this, again, with the debt service, would be my same question with the collection rate. But I guess that's. guess they're my concerns. The collection rate's my biggest concern. What's possible to actually come in compared to what's going
Any
out.
questions? What we might want to do is maybe, Joe, we could, if you direct Tom to come to a work session, maybe,
Well, I'll get these answers for you,
Yeah,
and then, let them get them to you, and then you decide what
well,
you
then
want to do.
maybe, yeah,
Right.
but maybe you could,
I don't know when we would have time for a work session again, unless we did it
I
before
have
next.
one for the
well,
rec.
unless we
Have it
could do
next
it at the
meeting.
next
The
meeting.
next meeting, because next meeting, like I said, we have to pass a first reading
No,
at the
wait.
next.
I still have one for
Go ahead, go ahead.
recreation. It's transferred to general fund wages, 38,000.
That's
We've
the,
been
that's the
zeroed out.
grass, that's grass cutting and maintenance.
We've been zeroed out
Where?
before that.
That kind of goes at the end of the year, whatever's left over gets transferred in.
Yeah, but
looks
we
like.
never had it. It's all been
Oh, yeah.
0, 0,
What is
0,
it?
0
Which
across
one is that, Jeannie?
the board. It would be 52,
What page are you on?
page 18.
18.
Oh, wait.
What line
Oh,
item?
no, maybe, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong column, because it goes across and I'm wrong. Okay, no, okay, I'm fine. I see what it is. It's communications, sorry.
I just, like, at the next meeting, to meet the time frame, I think we need to.
Well, we have to pass a budget,
Need to
but
pass.
Joe, I could tell you one thing. I'd rather you stick needles in my eyes than pass a 26% tax increase, and I'm sure you wouldn't mind that. Now, you have 3%,
That one you got
you have
right. That one you
3%.
got right.
you have 3% here raises. Our last budget, we had some 10% decreases.
3 people. You're talking about 3 people.
Not 3 people. It affected more, our cuts affected more than 3 people.
People. There's no more of those non-union. There's only 3.
Then why is the fire department taking a freeze with their contract?
No, there's more than 3 non-union
No,
people.
there is no contract for the,
No.
for the fire department.
No.
You didn't pass one.
I know that, but what we had set for the first year was a freeze in their pay. They didn't get an increase, am I correct? That's right.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe if maybe for the next meeting, Joe, you could have Tom come in and we could have a work session and just go over the budget, and we'll pass some version next week, but I don't know, there's gonna be a few amendments to it.
You know what?
Well, the
it-
only
it-
thing
it
I'm
has to-
saying
it has
here
to-
is
has to.
we need police.
Joe, I agree with you.
Okay, don't,
I agree with you 100%, and
there's
Well, you
a
know
lot
there's
of...
gonna, if
we're
you
gonna-
need part-time or full-time, you still
I
need
don't
to
know.
raise taxes for either one.
I can't freaking talk.
Go ahead.
No, what do you mean, go ahead? I
Keith
tried
was
to go
talking.
ahead.
Keith was talking. Go ahead.
No, you start talking when I said something, and then
ahead.
I can't talk.
Go ahead.
No, I
Speak.
don't want to talk, I'm done.
Okay.
You don't want to hear it.
But I think there's a few things that are missing that we really need to to address, like the storm fees in here, again, that's 300,000, we have to come up with somewhere. I think that the collection rate's gonna be a big issue. Not even to talk about some of the small things, but there's gonna be a big issue with or without hiring more police officers. We're gonna have a serious issue with revenue.
I know.
We know this.
So,
That's why we made
I'm
cuts from
just-
the last budget.
And like I said, at the last meeting, I mentioned about the master services agreement. There's some things we could do there. They do have land for sale, Joe. I know we've been saying it. You know, Randy sent you a list like 3 years ago. I had the letter. You said you didn't see it of land that they have for
That's
sale.
another touchy subject.
And you said in
Jack.
2012, Jack, that you were gonna sell the
You were
land.
going to
I
sell
want to
the
sell. I
land.
will sell the land once
You
that.
said you were going
once
to.
your
It's
deputy
3
mayor
years.
is gone from there. Once the
3
deputy mayor
years.
is gone from
Yeah,
there.
it's 3 years.
And you know what? Keegan came here and told me I couldn't sell it.
What do you want Kignan for? I'm talking about you,
Talking
Jackie
about the deputy
Monday.
mayor. He came
Jackie
here-
Monday
He was
said
here
at a
telling
meeting,
me I couldn't sell that land.
I'll
that
sell
it
it.
wasn't ours.
I said, Jackie, sell
I
it.
will
You
sell
said,
it.
I will.
I'll sell it
That's
after-
3 years ago.
Gone. I will sell it after he's gone.
You still won't sell it after
You
he's
won't.
gone,
I
because
will
you still
sell
won't
it
do it.
next year.
You think I'm sitting here with people offering to buy that land and I'm not selling it? Is that what you really think?
Joe, you didn't even know you got a letter that said it was for sale.
I did have a letter, and I knew it was for sale.
Told me
Who are you going to sell it to? Nobody.
Yeah.
Look at Humboldt. They're not even selling commercial property
Well, that's something we
built
can talk
with
about.
services in it.
I also, did you see the thing about Weir? I got this from Berkheimer.
Yeah,
Did Tom get anything, or is he?
we know about Weir, yeah.
Yeah, well, do you know how much it's gonna cost us?
Yeah,
Okay, because
in March of next year, they'll be.
I know, that's a blow to us.
Hey,
Okay, we're
One
gonna-
thing I'd like to say, I mean, doing really quick math with all of this budget, just to so everybody kind of understands, about 90.5% of it is basically salaries, healthcare, contracted services, etc. The other and then I did like 7.5% about of the budget is just to have the city run between electricity, office supplies, gasoline for vehicles, etc., which that brings it to about 98%. So there's roughly like a 2% in there. So about 98% of this budget is really the bare bones of insurance. Insurance, salaries, health insurance, vehicle insurance, gasoline, all that. Just so everyone knows. I mean, that's probably right in the ballpark.
Okay,
Just so
okay,
everyone knows.
that's it for a work session. Joe, you could stay for our meeting if you'd like. We only have one thing on it. 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 Have one thing on it.